Hey everyone, what's up? Also the astronaut here today. Today I wanted to talk about applying wisdom to contradictory knowledge. Now, if you're someone on the search for knowledge or the truth, you might be studying many different books, different religions, different ideas or lifestyles, and these different perspectives and ideas can really humble you and empower you. And sometimes they overlap, but sometimes they contradict. So what should you do when knowledge contradicts? Well, first, let's get into some examples. Example number 1. Let's say you're reading a book on productivity. You want to be more productive. You want to feel better about what you're doing with your time. And the book might tell you, well, these are the habits that you should form, and this, and that is how you should do it. And it will tell you how to make your day-to-day life as efficient as possible. Well, yeah, you're doing that, you're being productive, you're feeling overwhelmed. Then maybe you turn to a meditation book, and the meditation book talks about just being present, just being aware and present, and really not doing and focusing more on being. So productivity and meditation, maybe they go in opposite directions in how you should go about your day-to-day life. That's example number 1. Example number 2 goes into religion. Let's start with Buddhism. Now, the common knowledge for Buddhism is suffering is the root of all evil, and to stop your suffering, you have to let go of all your attachments to the ones you love, yourself, everything that your heart is attached to. Now that's a beautiful concept, and it's definitely a valiant effort if someone tries to go about living the Buddhist ideology to its highest level. But then you'll get other religions that might contradict that. For example, Christianity. So I wouldn't say I know too much about Christianity because I was not raised a Christian, but I have been going to some events and observing, and heard someone say, well, in Buddhism you go and isolate yourself, and you let go of everything, and you like to stop suffering, but that's not the way of Jesus. Jesus was someone who nurtured his relationships and was all about ultimate love and unity and bringing people together, creating strong relationships. And right there you have a contradiction between Buddhism and Christianity, where they're being compared for their different value systems. Both are trying to attain a higher moral value within people, but they're completely different paths. And then you might have a third religion, like Islam, that says, actually, Jesus wasn't the last prophet. The lineage continues to Prophet Muhammad, and Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet. And right there is a comparison between Christianity and Islam, because their basic structure of ideology contradicts each other. So there you have it, many different religions that are all trying to attain something pure, but then they contradict each other. What is a third example? Third example could be veganism and carnism. There is ample amounts of research saying that meat production is really destroying our earth and using up a lot of our resources. And if you really care to look into veganism, you see that we do cause mass genocide and suffering for many animals for our convenience. And there is a whole way of life. And then looking into carnism, there's other research that says that eating meat is the way to go. People swear by it, that eating meat has made them lost all this weight and made them disease-free and has changed their life around. And obviously these people will also say that it's just a natural part of being human to eat meat. And there you go, two lifestyles that are completely contradictory. But people claim that both are for the best. Fourth example would be enlightened and dramatic relationships. Now, I just read a book recently, The Power of Now, and talks about enlightened relationships and how in the relationships that we have with the people around us, we're caught in these cycles of interaction. These cycles are caused by our ego, which likes to separate ourselves from the people around us by causing drama, causing problems, causing fights, causing disagreements, and we might tend to blow these up much bigger than they need to be. Well, then it left me thinking, will being around these relationships in my life, will it stunt my growth in any way? Should I just leave all the people in my life behind and just go off and search for maybe a better community or even a way to get by myself? See, we have lots and lots of different forms of knowledge. They're all they're all trying to get to something noble and pure. Maybe not all of them, but some of them are just lifestyles, and some of them contradict. So, where do you go from here? What do you do with all this overwhelming information? What do you believe? Well, that's where wisdom comes in. That's where you apply wisdom to all this knowledge that you know, With wisdom, you create a structure of knowledge that works for you. That could be taking different bits of religious ideas and putting them together to make something that works for you, or maybe instead of just meditating all the time or being productive all the time, maybe you could find a beautiful balance that works for you. Or instead of just eating meat, you could maybe cut down a little bit to help our earthly resources. And maybe instead of chasing or yearning for enlightened relationships, you see that, hey, maybe these people cause drama in my life because they love me and they care about me, or they want some attention from me, and they may not really know how to show that. And you realize that maybe some drama is worth sticking around. That's okay. That the good truly does outweigh the bad. You see, all religions have a partial truth. Every viewpoint has a partial truth. Every opinion has a partial truth. There really is no extreme. The truth is not an extreme because the truth is a paradox. There is no absolute truth. It doesn't matter how much you try to chase after the truth. You will never find it. But knowing that is so powerful, because you can make the truth whatever you want it to be. The truth can be used to your advantage. Now I'm going to go further into the truth being a paradox with an example that you can really grasp onto and use. That example is the placebo effect. And this example has been studied through quantum mechanics. You can look online, you can see the research for yourself, but scientists have discovered that when electrons are being observed, they act the way you would expect them to act. When electrons are not being observed, they are sporadic, they are chaotic, they don't act how you think they would act. What does that say? That electrons are aware. Electrons are literally alive. Everything around you, all your surroundings, the walls, the ceilings, the floor, the chair, the rock, everything is aware and makes you really think. Can they think what I'm thinking? Are my thoughts really that different from those electrons? What is everything around us made of? Atoms. What are atoms made of? Mostly empty space. And particles. What are particles made of? Waves. What are waves made of? Nothing. So everything around you is basically made of nothing. And so are your thoughts. So what makes you think that your thoughts won't affect everything around you. When you really grasp this, you realize how powerful your mind is in creating your illusion or the world around you. And when you realize this, you can really use the placebo effect to your advantage. So what is wisdom? Wisdom is a heightened sense of awareness. And placebo effect is your tool. It's your main tool in your tool belt. And here's an example. Healing people. I have a friend who goes out on the street and he heals people in the name of Jesus. Now, this friend of mine, he is very, very Christian. He very much loves Jesus. And here's an example. When he goes out to heal someone, if he is healing someone and truly believes in the name of Jesus that he can heal this person, and the other person truly believes that they can be healed in the name of Christ, which we live in a Christian country, so I would like to say that it's still the majority of people believe that the healing will take place because both the healer and the person being healed believe the healing is taking place. In the same way, if someone gives you a pill for your depression, for your anxiety, for your pain, for any of the hundreds of problems that we have in our lives, and you believe it's going to fix your problem, it just actually might. Anything is possible with the placebo effect. Your imagination is the limit. And let me give you examples of people who used the placebo effect to change the world around them. Hitler. Now, I wouldn't say Hitler is exactly the most enlightened person or most heightened sense of awareness person, but he genuinely really believed that Jews were the problem, that they were the lesser people, like they were the ones who were causing the country so much harm. And him believing that caused so many people to rally and gather behind him and caused this almost hysteria in Germany where you just start killing and eradicating another human being just for their heritage. That is the placebo effect in action. I can give more examples of the placebo effect in action, one being Buddha. Now, what he did was he had to let go of all his attachments, and he let go of suffering, and this is his life's work. He really put so much into his efforts, and he became, for the context of his time, enlightened. And maybe what worked for him doesn't work for necessarily everyone. We're not all here to live the same life, but nonetheless, Buddha has gone down in history. Everyone knows who Buddha is. Everyone knows somewhat of his teachings, unless you live in a cave. And he has played his part in your life. Same thing with Jesus. He was this person with this powerful, peaceful message, and he was enlightened for his time, and he really impacted the people around him. He He caused ripples in history, and Jesus is such a fundamental part of society. It's insane to think about, right? His placebo effect, his wisdom was such powerful knowledge for everyone else. Heightened awareness and the placebo effect in action. And now let me give you one last example. Prophet Muhammad. Extremely enlightened person. He used religion as a tool, as a technology to bring all of the Middle East together. He unified the Middle East under these principles of higher morality and a higher consciousness. And not only that, but he applies practical methods to carry this out. In the Quran, where Prophet Muhammad talks about praying 5 times a day. Think about how crazy that is. This is possibly one of the most influential men in the world, and he tells people to just stop and be 5 times a day. Think about how much that can help elevate consciousness. Think about the millions or billions of people who stop and pray 5 times a day and elevate their consciousness. This is an enlightened man using the placebo effect to make the world a better place. Think about fasting. There's Ramadan, the month of fasting. It is so that people can cleanse themselves, so that people can almost, as this kind of like Buddhist values right here, but cleanse themselves of desire. See, knowledge doesn't always contradict, sometimes it overlaps. Now, let that soak in. Wisdom is the higher, heightened sense of awareness, and placebo effect is your tool. Truth is a paradox, and it can be whatever you want it to be. And as for myself, I'm just sharing my knowledge with you. I'm just sharing my placebo effect. You don't have to believe me, but just to get some thoughts from mine. Okay guys, so like the video, subscribe, leave a comment saying what you think, if you agree, if you disagree, what you've learned. I'd love to hear everything. Thanks for going with me. Infinite love. Until next time.